And some of them can answer a little bit, but most of them don't know. And none of them practically know what the Fourth Amendment is, because that's been so gutted in their lifetime. Ever since the Patriot Act, the Fourth Amendment hardly ceases to exist. And
And for
so
clarity
with
to everybody, is Trump did reauthorize that his first term.
once you give government power, they hardly ever take it away. And that particular one, probably, if he wouldn't have signed it, they would have probably overridden his veto. Both sides of the aisle love that power. And I think so. The Patriot Act, I actually was so mad when it passed, and so mad at the Democrats, because at the time, I actually hadn't gone to law school yet when the Patriot Act passed, but I had really followed the erosion of our Fourth Amendment rights that occurred through the drug war. And just in case anyone who's listening, the Fourth Amendment is your protection against unreasonable searches and seizures, and your protection, your ability to be secure in your papers, your persons, and your home, and no searches should occur without a warrant. Well, they started chipping away at the warrant requirement through the war on drugs. And as that was happening, I saw the writing on the wall as they were slowly chipping away. Well, if the police officer believed he had, good faith, then maybe it's okay if he searches you without a warrant. Well, our founders were really clear. No, no, no searches without a warrant. It doesn't matter if he thought he could search you without a warrant, kind of thing. And then once the Patriot Act, and then once the Transportation Security Act, which created TSA, passed, our Fourth Amendment rights completely disappeared. And in an age of technology, as Edward Snowden pointed out, that what he risks to bring to us, we really don't have any Fourth Amendment rights of privacy to our information and our data at all. And so I think it's much easier to get younger people to accept more and more infringement on these basic rights when they don't even understand what they are, and then add to it, in their lifetime they haven't seen them in operation. And so, I think I I actually encourage a lot of parents, if you can do it, to homeschool, especially if your children are young right now. And I understand the economic reality of most families, and I don't think either party is doing a very good job giving us solutions for that economic reality that most Americans face. But if you can homeschool your kids, I highly encourage it. And if your kids have any interest at all in learning a trade, I highly encourage that too, instead of going to college, unless they really know what they want to do with that college degree, and do a lot of research about what the future of that field is in 10 years, especially in light of AI and the AI impact on information space jobs and things like that. So,
Yeah, I
so
mean,
um,
and you're right. People don't necessarily always understand that part of it. Which they should, but they don't. That part is definitely, I don't know if you want to call it a shame, but it is a shame. A lot of people don't understand it.
you're talking
And the
about
Fourth
the
Amendment, you're right. The Fourth Amendment, yeah. I mean that it's. I mean it has been gutted. They'll try to plead certain people will try to plead ignorance, and then the cop or the judge or whoever, oh, whoa, whoops, oops. If you have a clue of what you're doing or know how it's supposed to work, you can get out of it. But they're going to try to play you for dumb in a lot of cases. Not all. And I'm not knocking police or judges, but there's some folks out there that try to be slick about it. The internet has exposed that. I mean, that's not my personal opinion. That's just literally what's out there. And I think that saying I don't authorize my car to be searched is grounds for call your supervisor for a possible suspicion because you're not letting me in your car. Well, all that is just changing the way you get in my car. It's that means that my Fourth Amendment really doesn't matter. You can just, you can shred it up whenever, you feel like it.
yeah.
That's how I feel about that one.
No, I agree. And, I think you might hear some people say, well, if you're not doing anything wrong, you have nothing to worry about. And that is a very, in my opinion, totalitarian way to think. The government should be out of
Yes.
my business unless they have probable cause to believe that I have done something wrong. And they've turned that around on its head. And I think, if